Hey everyone, thanks for hopping in to the Sage Executive Podcast where we interview top executives so you don't have to. With me today, we got a special guest. I'm excited to bring him on board. So without further ado, can you share who you are and what you do?
Yes, thank you. My name is Momo Vuyisich. I'm the Chief Science Officer and a co-founder of a company called Viome, and I am responsible for all scientific aspects of the company. That has the list is too long to fit within this podcast.
Just really quick then, what is it that the company really does for I guess maybe you want to share what's the problem that you solve? How about that?
Yeah. So the company's absolutely number one role is to completely revolutionize our sick care system. So as you know, we have a system in place that's called healthcare. And when you think of the word healthcare, that you think that it should be taking care of our health, but in fact, it's not the case at all. What it
Mm,
does is it waits for you to get sick, and then it manages your sickness. That is why I call it the sick care.
okay.
And so, any chronic disease that you look at today, and there are more than 50 major and hundreds of minor chronic diseases, any one of them, it doesn't start the night before you feel the symptoms. So whether you're talking about diabetes or obesity or heart disease or
Hmm.
Parkinson's, Alzheimer's,
It's
none
way
of
further
those.
back.
You don't eat a steak one day and you're fat the next day or get a heart attack the next day. It starts
Yeah.
decades earlier,
Your
right?
cholesterol and all that. Yeah. Takes a
Exactly. And
while.
so and so so the pick any disease, let's say multiple sclerosis or Alzheimer's, the sick care system waits for you to get sick. And then all they're focused on is what can we sell you every day for the rest of your life just to keep you alive, not really enjoy your life, have a lot of painful experiences, both emotionally and physically and financially,
Wow.
right?
It's a subscription service.
It's a
You're making it sound
subscription
like a
service.
subscription service. Gosh, that's so
Exactly.
scary. You're
And so
subscribing
that
to
is
stay alive.
that
Oh,
is
what?
literally the state of the art today in the
Oh
sick
my
care
goodness.
system. All right.
Yeah.
And so I was a very frustrated scientist. I had a chronic disease that was, idiopathic, which means we have no idea what caused it. And so that's another thing, that of these 50 major chronic diseases, we don't know what is causing any one of them, not a single one, right? And so what we need to refocus is the whole society, and unfortunately the society is not doing it because there's no money in it, is
Hmm.
how do we actually identify when you start to develop Alzheimer's 30 years before you display any symptoms? And what do we do about it so that you know with 100% confidence that you will not develop that disease if you follow those recommendations? And so, what we are all about at my company is um, digitizing the human body using very high resolution and high accuracy molecular tests, and then understanding when your body departs from health very, very early on, years or decades before any symptoms would show up. And then we tell every single person exactly what to eat and what not to eat and how to live their life to prevent the development of any chronic disease. That's the plan. And
Mm.
that's really what we have to move forward with. The staggering numbers are that every single year in the United States, we spend $3.5 trillion on healthcare, and 3 trillion of those 3.5 are spent on managing chronic diseases.
Wow.
$3 trillion. And that doesn't mean that we're actually making these people's lives better. We're just managing their illness. Anyways, enough about
No,
that.
I'm
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you're gonna get I feel like you would get total some backlash and like jobs and what about our hospital systems and all this stuff. I think I'm with you, but I'm saying how are you gonna convince the profit centers, right? The people who are profiting from all of that big pharma,
We don't,
without getting it too into it.
yeah, we don't need to convince anyone of anything. When we provide a solution that's preventative
Mhm.
and curative, I had a chronic disease for 15 years and it completely consumed me, right? Towards the end of that illness, my life was consumed by the chronic disease. Until you have a chronic disease, you don't know what it means. It means from
Mm.
every single moment of your life, you
Yeah,
have to
it's
think about it and you
debilitating.
suffer. It's debilitating, exactly. And
I
so
I'm
I
with you. Yeah.
switched my diet and my disease not only went away, I completely healed myself. So I have not had any symptoms for 5 years now. And if you ask 100 rheumatologists today, can that be done? They will say that's not possible. Like that's just literally not possible. Rheumatoid
Mm.
arthritis and ankylosing spondylitis, the best we can do is slow the disease down. That's it.
Mm. Got it. All right. No,
So
that
we
was
want
a
we want this for
solid,
everyone.
yeah, solid answer to number one. Thank you. So let's go on to the second one. And this is an opportunity now for you to share with the listeners about what's the best thing about being a leader?
Yeah. So this is the phrase that I wake up with every single day, which is the only way to predict the future is to invent it. Okay.
Hmm.
And being a leader allows you to invent the future. So when I predict a future that's going to be 5, 10 years from now, I'm not saying this is my prediction. I'm going to let the world go forward and then see if my prediction is right or wrong. Right. I'm predicting what the future is going to be like 5 to 10 years, and then I make it happen. And that's really the most exciting part about being a leader is that you're in a position to make things happen. So I love that.
That's really, really good. Yep, I agree with you on that. You're cutting you're at the forefront. Now, how do you prevent the fear of failure or like because at times you're not perfect, right? You're making mistakes, you're making errors. How do you get that off your shoulders and not let that weigh you down for making those decisions?
I mean, you just know up front that in life you're going to be making mistakes. You can either dwell on them and you can spend time and waste your time on them, or you just pick yourself up and you just keep moving and keep running. You stumble and then you just get up and run. It's just a part of life.
Yeah. So that leads to the next question where sometimes there's just a ton of strategies, right, for client acquisition. And many times you're trying one thing and another and things are working, things aren't working. In your specific case, your the people you're reaching out to, whether it's bigger entities or individuals, how what's worked for you and how have you had to adjust?
Yeah. So I like to give an example here of Tesla and Toyota, right?
Hmm.
Um, Toyota's budget for marketing per year is billions of dollars. Okay. And they obviously have lots of competition and they struggle to sell cars, right? They have a backlog of cars that they're trying to sell at any point in time. Tesla has a zero marketing budget and they can't make cars fast enough to meet the demand, right?
That's true.
And Toyota is the best in my mind, the best example of traditional cars, right?
Mm,
So how do you sell stuff is you make a product that sells itself. It's really that simple. So we didn't have a marketing team at all for the first 3 years of our company. And now in our fourth year, we have a small marketing team, but vast majority of our customers are acquired by the word of mouth. And that's because
best. Yeah.
we someone buys our product, they try it and they're like, holy cow, this is amazing. Like this is literally amazing. We have a testimonial where someone says, I've been overweight all my life, right? And 3 months after I started Viome, I started losing weight, and a year later I'm 40 pounds down and I'm maintaining 40 pounds down. Like this is a miracle. And I eat whenever I want, whatever I want. Or someone will say something like, I had psoriasis my entire life, like for 40 years. I tried every pharmaceutical in the United States. I tried every pharmaceutical in other countries. I went to Japan and tried these alternative medicine. I went to China. I went to Bulgaria and poured holy water on my skin. Okay. I mean, I have tried everything on the planet that anyone has claimed can treat psoriasis, and nothing has worked. Okay. 3 months after I started the Viome diet, my psoriasis is gone. Like, this is amazing. Guess what? That person is going to talk about Viome in every possible setting. They're going to be like, "This is unbelievable,"
It's
right?
impacted their lives in a crazy way.
Exactly. It's just an extraordinary experience. And so when you have such customers that have such extraordinary experiences, you get new customers all the time. So we've had either times where we had no problem meeting the demand, or several times where we just could not meet the demand. So we've been doing just fine. So just create that product that everyone wants.
I'm gonna call that the Viome model or the Tesla model, right?
Tesla model, yeah. Tesla model. Tesla is,
All
I
right.
think, just one of the greatest.
Thanks, Momo. Okay, question number 4. What piece of sage advice would you give to other execs?
Yeah, so there are several, but the number one advice I would say is be socially responsible. Create a product. Don't create a product for the purpose of making money. Create a
Mm,
product for the purpose of doing something good. Okay. And when you create something that's good, it's going to exponentially grow and it's going to make you money. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about money, right? Think about, we have so many problems on this planet. How do you help solve those problems using your entrepreneurship and your backing, scientific and financial backing? How, you know, how do you solve those problems? That's what I would recommend to everyone. And if we can have more people and more leaders think that way, our world would be a better place.
as opposed to thinking more in like a profit focused way.
Exactly, exactly. It's just don't think about profit. Profit will come. Solve a big problem, and profit will come.
Now, I feel like there's a second piece to that that's sometimes not spoken about, and it's probably that the intrinsic fulfillment of working towards something that you know is better for the world versus working towards something that is more self-fulfilled. Like, what is the word?
Yeah,
So
selfless. Yeah, exactly.
S exactly, exactly. So I think and that I think that just adds to what you're saying. Focus on something that on a challenge or a problem that's needed in the world, and then not only will the money come in that case, but also that self-fulfillment and the selfless nature that
You're
that
going to
comes with
feel
it.
a lot better when you're 60 years old and someone asks you, "What have you done with your life?" Instead of saying, I made a shitload of money." Why not say, "I helped hundreds of millions of people live better lives." That's a lot more fulfilling.
Absolutely. Okay, question number 5. Thanks for all that. What other top leaders like yourself in your network here on LinkedIn? I think you're pretty active on LinkedIn from what I can see. That would you recommend be on our podcast?
Well, I can't recommend enough the CEO of our company, so Naveen Jain. He
Mm.
is very charismatic, very knowledgeable, very experienced. And yeah, so that's my number one pick. And so I can recommend others via email.
Awesome. All right, and then the last one. Thanks for that. The last one is, when for you as the chief science officer, how do you classify a win, and then what do you do to celebrate?
Yeah, so that's interesting. So we don't really celebrate like a typical way. We celebrate wins by thinking about what is next, right? So, for example, the first product we released at Biome, it was the first product of its kind in the world, in the history of the world, right? We just released our second product actually this month, and it's also the first product of its kind in the world. And yet, literally that same day after we released it, we're like, great, what's next? We now gotta think about the next first, world's first, and next, and so on. So we really celebrate by being excited about what's next and how do we bring more useful things to the world that can do good and help more people. That's our celebration,
Yeah, it
using
makes
our
sense.
powers to do that. Yeah, so that's really where we find our satisfaction.
Awesome. So, and with everything that's happening right now, I mean, do you guys have a what's next right now? At least, either
Of
whether that's
course.
a product or anything like that.
Of course.
What's you can't share what's brewing,
No, I can
can you?
share everything. Yeah, absolutely. So we just released this blood test that's really revolutionary, and it's first of its kind, like I said. And then the very next product that we're going to release, which is this July/August, is precision supplement. So as you probably know today, everyone claims that their supplement is the best, and you should take it, right? And so if you listen to everyone's advice, you'll be spending hundreds of dollars per month on supplements, and you'll be taking a lot of supplements that your body doesn't need and has to deal with or are potentially toxic, right? And that's the standard today. That's the state of the art today in supplements business, right? Just shove as many supplements down people's throats as you can. Well, what we've devised is a strategy that has precision supplements that are data driven. So the decision as to which supplements you need to take and how much of each supplement you need to take is all data driven, meaning that when we analyze your stool sample and your blood sample and soon your saliva sample, it will be 100% mathematical algorithms that convert that molecular data into which supplements and how much of each supplement you need to take.
You
And
need wow, and then you
uh,
can create the supplement to
and
fit
then
exactly that.
we are going to create. So yes, we're going through the manufacturing process right now to create those so that every single one of our customers will have a different supplement pack. And the reason we've had to unfortunately go this route is because we've knocked on every door of every supplement manufacturer. And when we tell them that an average person needs 6 times fewer supplements than what they're currently recommended by these supplement manufacturers, every single manufacturer basically said, we don't want to work with you because you're going to reduce our revenue sixfold. That's none of our interest, right?
Yeah.
And so we've had to basically then make a hard decision that even though this is not in our original business plan and this is not what we do, we had to make that hard decision that we're going to have to manufacture these
Mm,
because none of the other manufacturers are interested in these
want to
precision
take you on.
supplements. And
Wow.
so we'll just have to do it ourselves.
Well, I
So
wish
that's
you
the
the
next
best of
product.
luck.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you for sharing all that. And
absolutely.
Momo, for those who want to get in touch, want to connect with you and your or learn more about your company, how can they do that? How can they reach out?
Well, they can reach out in two ways. One is on LinkedIn. I'm available there. And the other one is if they have a question about Viome, they can always send an email to info@viome.com. And, if they have a scientific question or something like that, that'll be always directed to me.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks so much. Thanks,
Absolutely
Momo.
my pleasure.